Grace is going to present Grace and Lalusana Saido. Whoever is presenting, okay, later. Then Takamon teaching, if he or she is here. Okay, take it. And then fifth one is Alpha Diva. If he's here.
It's also not here.
Okay. Then Sirisha Vedu, please come. And last one is Dr. R. Balam Garisana. So we'll start with Albert Shankishore and the Young Queen Sana's paper, which is titled Understanding the Politics of Mizoram. So we already have started with. So please manage within 10 minutes. Okay? Please prepare your way so that you can do your figure in 15 minutes.
Some history research work from political science, Mizoram University. So, as you see from the slide, my topic is understanding the political attitudes of the women in Mizoram. Coming to the introduction, when we talk about political attitude, it basically means the disposition or way of thinking or feeling about issues about politics and political events, especially issues that are controversial or partisan among groups of people and citizens. So the term political attitude refers to individuals or a group beliefs or discussion regarding political issues, opinions or government policies. So in the simplest terms, when we talk about political attitude, it basically means the views or opinions of the people towards politics or concerning politics. So political views may be expressed through voting, participating in demonstration, joining political parties or engaging in political conversation. So, before going to political attitude, the factor which shape political attitude, let me give a simple definition of political attitude. So, when we talk about political attitude, as I mentioned, it is the views and opinions held by concerning people, concerning politics, and this attitude affect how individuals think and behave in the political process, including how they vote and also including how they participate in politics or electoral politics. So these are factors which have shaped political attitude. Number one, family history. Number two, education. Number three, religion, media exposure, political parties and political leaders. So when we talk about political history, this family history, it is one of the most important or significant factors which have shaped the political attitude. So, regarding this family history, taking for instance, suppose if family has a history of immigration, so that means they still support the policies which support immigration. So, coming to education, as you know, education produces or promote the way and thinking of the people. So, it improves their critical thinkings and in terms of exposure also. This way, it is one of the most important political attitude, the factors that shape political attitude. Number three, religion. So regarding religion, this is also one of the most common and important factors that have shaped the political attitude. So religion, coming to religion, suppose if religion is, as you know, in Mizoram there are several denominations like Presbyterian, Baptist, UPC, Catholic. So, if suppose the religion or denomination are extreme or conservative in terms of giving example to liquor, if they are extreme, they will support policy. So in this way, based on the religion, extremists hugely have impact on the political. So So regarding this media exposure, media exposure is also one of the most important significant political factors to say political attitude. So give examples. So in the past election, one of the most key elements which the politician uses is social media. So through social media, the individuals or person listen the candidates debate, discussion, and party campaign also. Through this, they have shaped the political attitude also. So political parties. So as you know, in the past election, 2023, that is November election, ZPM, as you know, the ZPM has secured majority. So the ZPM party, giving example to ZPM party, one of the reasons why people support ZPM party is because the ZPM parties, they promise like clean our state away from corruption, and like one of the most important policy of the ZPM is this, what to say, the handholding policy. Due to this policy, the youth are inclined to this political parties ZPM. So in this way, political parties have shaped the political attitude. So political leaders, coming to political leaders, I will give example to ZPM leader Pula Duma. As you know, Pula Duma is the chief minister, currently chief minister in Mizoram. So one of the reasons why, one of the factors why the youth, particularly the youth, support Pula Duma is because of his personality, charismatic, and one of the main factors is articulate. This is a very good articulate person. That's why the youth, based on their quality of the leaders, they support the political leaders or political parties. So in this way, political parties have a huge impact on shaping the political attitude. Next, impact of political attitude. As you know, political attitudes are associated with the socio-economic and political development of a country. It is the people attitude towards politics that determines whether one belongs to a certain party or believes in an ideology. Suppose let me give for example, suppose if a person or individual is inclined to a conservative view, he or she must be automatically representing or supporting a conservative party. Likewise, if a person or individual is supporting liberal views, he or she should end up associating with the liberal parties. So the political attitude of the people affects the level of political engagement. So the level of political attitude also has a huge impact on the level of political engagement also. So a highly politically engaged society can lead to more vibrant democracy, or this engagement can hinder democratic process. So looking at this, the last point of the slide, the success of the democracy is also largely depend on the level of the political attitude of the individual or the person. So Mizo movement was coming to the main context. The political attitudes of the Mizo youth or Mizo people have, I mean the people, but youth. And Mizo people have evolved over the years and are shaped by their history, culture, and religion. Generally, the political attitudes of the Mizo people are molded by their history, culture, and traditions. So the status and role of women in India, even after independence, remain one of the major issues of discussion, not only in India. It is happening or it occurs in almost in the society of the world, particularly also in the Mizo society. So we deal with the Mizo women. So coming to the Mizo women or the Mizo context, Mizo women face discrimination based solely on their sex in their traditional societies. The society of the Mizo people is patriarchal and patrilineal. They live according to the patriarchal after marriage. So this shows that women does not have the right to inheritance. So the right to inheritance is mainly based on the women. So there is one famous or very popular adage that is makes it Tunisu, which translates to great need is not a be. A woman what is not a what. Provide an insight the social backdrop of the woman. And administration, coming to the administration or the social administration, in the locality, village, in the locality or during the chieftainship, the social administration was mainly carried out by the women instead of women. So in this way, women have less chance in they have a less chance in the administration of the society as compared to men. They hardly have a chance to administrate or involve in the administration of the society. So also in terms of village chief, men dominated the entire political process. So the women folk were not the legitimate heirs and had no claim to rule. So attitude of the Mizo women towards politics. Over the years, there have been few female politicians. Since Mizoram gained statehood in the year 1987, just 3 women, I have not update, have been elected in the state legislative assembly, so including the previous election, 3 women were elected, like Valedictory, and then 4 Pachhunga from West Queen. So including the 3 of them, it comes to 6 women. Well, other women voters have consistently. Regarding these women voters, I have my source is that CEO of this advert. Women voters have consistently outnumbered men in state election. Their political representation has historically remained significantly low. So this means that, according to the CEO source, the voter turnout between men and women, there is a slight difference between. There is a slight difference between in terms of percentage. Here, what which is very amazing is that the voter turnout of women is slightly high as compared to men. So the percentage of women voter turnout is high as compared to men. So, but as you know, although their percentage is high in terms of voter turnout, but their position in the state legislative, for example, for giving example in the state legislative assembly election, only 3 of them were elected. That's why. Over the years, there have been the Mizo female politicians. So comparison of the 2018 and 2023 state assembly election. So in the past 2018 election, only 15 seats were given to the women, but none of them made it or achieved success. But coming to the 2023 election, out of 174 candidates, only 16 seats were given to women, and as you know, 3 of them made it or achieved. So in this way, there is slowly and gradually there is a changing position of women in terms of election. So the women are coming to participate and engage more and more in the state politics, and they have the chance, looking at their capability and their their capability, they have the chance in the future to elect or participate in any kind of electoral process. They have a chance. So challenges confronted by women in politics. There's a good reason why women are yet to actively participate in state politics. According to Professor Nanda Mizovi, Mizo University, one of the primary reasons for this, is that most communities in the Northeast region are classless, where there is no class-based discrimination, especially in the tribal state. However, since they follow a particular system of family, there is a sub-distinction between men and women in terms of their roles, position, and status. So there is here I have listed out one of the challenges, some of the challenges which women confronted in the state politics. Number 1, attitudes of the husband, parents toward their boyfriend daughter. So as you know, during campaign or election, women, they need to stay overnight, and they need to stay away from husband. First, they need to have campaign going to village, town to town. So in this way, most of the husbands in general, they do not want to, they didn't want their wife or their daughter to stay away from them and spending their time with the male politician. So this is one of the common challenges confronted by women. And next, priority of church service rather than politics. So many, including men, women also want their also have given their priority towards religion or church service rather than politics. So men also wanted their wife to participate or engage more in church activities rather than politics. So next, a realm of corruption and dishonesty. So many women saw that politics is a root of corruption, and they think that politicians and some of the system is dishonesty. So they don't want this is the reason, one of the reason why the women do not want to participate or engage in the politics or engage in electoral process. So considering the heavy impact of religion, conventional gender norms enforced by Bible teaching and accepted by society persuade women that the political spheres legitimately belong to men. Coming to the conclusion, in recent years there has been a significant and comprehensive in the political landscape where Mizo women are slowly and gradually becoming more political conscious and active participants in politics. This development indicates a paradigm shift in which women are not perceived observers but participate in creating political discourse. Thank you.
Thank you. So, if you have comments, please note it. You can take them up for later on. Now, the next presentation is Michelle Jotanzwali and David Jotanzwali. Whoever is it.
Good afternoon, everyone, respected officers, my fellow students and scholars, and everyone present here. My name is Michelle Jotanzwali, and today I will be giving a presentation on women's participation and leadership in church administration with special reference to Mizo Society. My co-author is Dr. David Zavansa, Associate Professor, Department of Public Administration, Pachhunga University College. First of all, you know that women's participation and leadership in church administration, particularly within Mizo society, can be varied and a very dynamic subject. In Mizo society, Christianity plays a significant role, and the church often serves as a central institution that influences various aspects of community life, including governance and social norms. And traditionally, we know that Mizo society has been patriarchal, where gender roles are deeply ingrained in our culture, and that very much influenced the society. Let's go on to the next slide. And here we know that missionaries came to the Lusha Hills in 1894, and many Mizos converted to Christianity. And today, almost 90% of Mizos are Christians. People living in Mizoram are Christians belonging to Presbyterian or Baptist churches or other indigenous Christian denominations. Although there are many denominations present in Mizoram, Presbyterian and Baptist church are two of the biggest churches in Mizoram. And traditionally, today, women are also actively involved in various churches activities such as we have choirs. Women's Fellowship is also there. So Women's Fellowship was founded by Mrs. Catherine Ellen Williams, who was the wife of the Welsh missionary Reverend David Gibbon Jones, also known as Osakuya, and they founded other female, and along with other female missionaries, they founded the Presbyterian Mizo Women's Fellowship in 1904. And the main objective of this fellowship was to initiate a process through which churchwomen develop and maintain the Christian family, where women play significant roles as mothers as well as nurturers. And so, despite active participation, women in Mizo society may face barriers to assume leadership roles within the church administration. Let's go to this slide. Here, the main barriers to leadership is due to the cultural norms and expectations, which is deeply rooted in our society, restricting women's access to decision-making positions within church administration. And so, many churches are not ready for women's ordinations and do not feel the need to have one. While progress has been made, challenges remain in achieving full gender equality in church administration, and in order to overcome these challenges, we need to lead a life of example by showing that we are capable of many things, and we need to celebrate our achievements as well. So, however, some policies need revision and change so as to include women in the decision making. And so, in conclusion, women, we do not seek superiority, but we seek for equal recognition, acceptance, and privilege. And women's participation and leadership in charge administration within the Mizo society are influenced by a complex interplay of historical, church, and institutional factors. While progress has been made, there is still work to be done to ensure full gender equality and exclusivity within religious institutions. This requires ongoing efforts to challenge traditional norms, promote women's empowerment and create spaces for women to assume leadership roles. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruchil, for finishing before time. And the two papers will be complementary to each other. We can have a lot to discuss later on. Fourth is Takuron Kichu, who will be talking about how government's access to the evidence rights. Not there? Okay. So move to the next presenter. Lal Famkima will talk on study of socio-economic condition of the Mizo women with the visible vendors in Bharatanagar. Very interesting. Is she there? No? Okay, I hope they come to the like to hear this. Next is Sirisha Vepur, who's going to speak on weaving gender exploitation and comparative analysis of female labor in 3 unique production processes of the handloom industry in Telangana.
Good afternoon, I'm Sirisha. So I'm a doctoral fellow at Center for Women's Studies, University of Hyderabad. Today I'm going to, my paper basically focuses on weaving gender exploitation and comparative analysis of female labor in 3 unique production systems of Telangana. So my study will be focusing on 3 different villages of Telangana, which is Jogipet, Pochampalli and Garbal of Telangana. Okay, as we know that handloom equally contributes to the economic growth of this country. Telangana state is one of the important states with a significant handloom industry, having 82,435 weavers affiliated to the cooperative societies. Cooperative societies are the societies set up by the government which provides basically support to the local weavers, and the societies have set up different setups in Telangana. Moreover, approximately 48,967 powerloom workers are also in the state. The state has 475 weaver cooperative societies, which I mentioned before, with 253 dedicated to cotton, 50 for silk and 44 for wool. Okay, the participation of women in handloom weaving. The handloom industry relies heavily on the contribution of women, particularly those working in the families. So basically, Telangana is dominated by the handloom weaving, which basically happens in family units. And studies also show that women spend a lot of time and hard work compared to men in handloom weaving than the men in the family. So basically my objectives of this paper would be to explore the diversity of the handloom industry in the state of Telangana, examine the socio-economic status of women workers in 3 different avenues of handloom sector in the state, to study the welfare policies legal and social measures provided to women workers, and how are they exactly operated on the ground. So my methodology, I've done a descriptive research, which a study was conducted primarily among the handloom weavers of these three places. An unstructured interview schedule was organized, and then I used a snowball sampling wherein one of the participants has assisted me in identifying different participants, which helped me drive through the work that I was going through. So before I start with different production processes, I would like to explain how the production happens in Telangana. So it's the same almost everywhere, but I will mostly focus on Telangana. So firstly, to start the production, it is yarn procurement. First, the weaver will procure the yarn and then clean it. Before they clean it with by dipping it in boiling soap water. Then a design is decided, and there is a design that is cropped on a cardboard, and either weaver do it by themselves, or they have a separate center wherein they go give the design and they make the design for the weaver. Then they bleach the yarn, and then they dye the yarn. Then there is a wrap preparation, that is in Telugu it is called kandilu. These are the small spindles with the thread that are prepared before the weaving process starts. And next is the wrap preparation, that is aspoidam, which is called in Telugu, which is basically preparing the loom with the wrap thread that is necessary for the weaving. And final processing is weaving, which in Telugu is neyada. With the help of the brick and wrap, they come up with the final fabric that has to be weaved. So basically, this is how the entire weaving process is plotted on a single page. So I would now talk on the handloom industry of Pochamapalli. Mainly the production process is the independent working system. The weavers there work independently. They own their own looms. They handle their own preparation. Either it might be yarn, choosing the color, choosing the design, and what sort of border that they have to have. So here the weavers have their own choice of selecting what kind of saree they have to weave, and the marketing also depends on the weaver, whether he has to directly sell it to the customer, or whether he has to sell it to the shop owners, or whether he has to give it to a contractor who basically acts between the producer and the marketing team. So when we talk of Gadwal production, here basically majorly the production is mediated through a mediator, wherein the mediator gives all the raw materials. The mediator is called the Saukari, who gives the raw material, design, color, and everything. And here the weaver, independent weaver, doesn't have any choice of making any decisions with regard to the saree that they are weaving. They are just the employers that listens to the Saukari and then weave the final product and then give back to the Saukari, and for which they get paid. And in this weaving system, it is just that they are paid monthly. It's just that they are having their regular payments on time to run their families. So this is talking of Jogipet. Jogipet is a very unique production system wherein all the workers, the other to the what differentiates Jogipet from Pochamapalli and Gadwal is this is a production system where all the workers surrounding Jogipet and Jogipet comes to a common work shed, that is a government common work shed where they come there, and government generally gives the order of production, and then we must give the final products and give it back to the government. The problem with the Jogipet production is government gives the order, but there are not enough labor which is actually working in the working sheds right now, because the wages that are paid by the government to these workers is very low, that a person who is going for a daily wage is earning more than what they are getting from the work that they are doing in the work shed. For example, Jogipet, basically the weavers weave towels and chunnis, dupattas, cotton dupattas, and for which for one towel they are paid 60 rupees and for one chunni they are paid 100 rupees. So a maximum of 3 towels that they can make and the maximum that they can earn is 180 rupees. Whereas if they go for a daily wage labor, they earn 390 rupees per day. So wherein when I first visited Jogipet, the work shed, I found majority of them are women who are in the industry, and we will only see elderly men who exactly can't afford to go for a daily wage work, which is very hard on their body. So somewhere there is this thing that the low wage that is given to the workers is also directly affecting the industry at a large, and they are not able to produce the required quantity or the required orders that government is trying to get from the Jogipet industry as well. So concerns, the concerns that I have observed during my entire study was that yes, there is gender discrimination that is very much evident from the way from the nature of the work that is happening in this sector, and informal nature of work. The handloom sector, as I told, majorly is home-based work, and where the labor regulations and the labor and protection rights are often weak and absent. The informal structure leaves women vulnerable to exploitation by the employer or may exploit their labor without providing adequate wages, benefits, or job security. Economic marginalization. Women in this handloom industry often come from economically marginalized background, lacking access to education, training, and financial resources. This economic vulnerability makes them more susceptible to the exploitation. So unpaid household labor, which is an added burden onto the women to coordinating between both the handloom weaving as well as the domestic chores and the caregiving responsibilities that they have in the house. Lack of awareness and organization. Many women weavers are unaware of the rights or lack the means of organizing collective mobilization of these women, even to demand a fair wage. Power dynamics with the families. In many handloom weaving communities, work is organized within the family units where women contributions are often unvalued or overlooked. Traditional gender roles and hierarchies within family result in unequal distribution of labor, resources, decision-making power, leading to women's exploitation. Globalization and market pressures. Economic globalization and market pressures have intensified competition in the handloom sector, driving down prices and squeezing profit margins. In this competitive environment, women weavers are forced to accept low wages, poor working conditions to remain competitive in the market. Lack of legal protection. Weak enforcement of labor laws and regulations, particularly in informal sector, has been one of the factors that is very concerning and leading to the exploitation of women in this industry. Okay, the health concerns. As I told before, handloom weaving is something which requires a lot of labor, and workers have to sit down for several longer hours in a very still positions and repetitive tasks. Weaving the thread, looking at the thin thread that is very, which is also stressing their eyes. Poor lighting, because as they work from home, their lighting is also very poor and then poor working conditions. use of chemical dyes is also one of the factors that is affecting their health at large. Government interventions. Government has initiated many schemes and policies at central level as well as at state level to help this handloom develop. One is comprehensive handloom development scheme, basically which focuses on the upgradation of the skills, credit facilities, market orientation, design and production management, marketing and export scheme, which is part of the level 5-year plan. So basically they focus on promoting the handloom. Yarn supply scheme, basically this scheme basically focuses on the supply of raw materials. The supply of raw materials is basically they match the price of the market price. Health insurance scheme, this is also a central scheme introduced in 2010 and 11 as part of 12th 5-year plan. But when we see on the ground, and if we talk to the viewers whether they have any health insurance that they are claiming, it's a zero health insurance that's a response that we got from the fieldwork as well. Cheneka Lakshmi scheme is a production discount scheme. For example, if a viewer pays 1,000 rupees for a time period of 9 months, they can actually buy any product which is valuing of 14,000 after 9 months. So, Asra pension scheme is a scheme that provides pension to, this is in collaboration with the LIC, which provides basically pensions to, insurances to the natural viewers who have committed suicide or natural deaths, people with disabilities, partial disabilities, they try to provide pensions. So these are basically the state schemes. As I told you, like there are cooperative societies, which is again Telangana Handloom Weavers Cooperative Society, which also helps facilitate marketing or provide credit facilities to the weavers. There is thrift scheme which is very rapidly utilized by the weavers, which is like if you pay a certain amount now, and after 3 years the amount is actually doubled. So it's a kind of a money saving scheme that is being implemented, and many of the weavers right now are able to access to that scheme. So these are the other schemes which are the national schemes which are generally for all the unorganized workers. So to conclude, these are few things that I feel that by implementing will help women empower themselves in this particular area of work, which is skill development and training. I think by providing training and skill development, I think they would be able to come up with more designs, more sort of innovative things in handloom, and which will also help them grow in the sector, and access to financial services, where right now they depend on local lenders for their investments. I think access to financial services, in which also includes subsidy on yarn, also will help them. Awareness and advocacy, as I told, one of the issues is that they are not aware of their basic rights as labor in the ground. I think that will somewhere empower them to raise when some discrimination or when some exploitation is happening in the ground. Improving working conditions will in a way help them lead a very healthy life, which also results in larger production, and which will help them again improve the standard of living. Formalization of employment. We know that the data that is available government also, or with the government of Telangana, we do, like I personally experienced this because there is not many women names that have been registered, or they have ID cards on the ground. But when we see the ground, it is mostly women who are operating the loom, say from dyeing to winding to wrapping, working on the loom. It's women actually plays a very significant role. Recognition and fair compensation. I think that women labor should be recognized, and fair compensation, proper wages to be given to the women workers. support for work-life balance. So it's very difficult that we cannot impose that 8 hours of work when they are working in an informal space like home, but there should be some measure which will actually maintain that work-life balance and market access and value additions. I think more marketing strategies directly should be marketing strategies which involves directly the producer and the customer should be maintained, which helps avoid the middleman who keeps exploiting in all of this is what I think. Thank you so much, and I thank the organizers for giving me such a wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Risha. Very interesting contemporary study. So the next presentation is by Dr. Banlal Mangai Sanga, who's be talking about autonomic movements in autism.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'd like to thank the organizer as they consider my praise and put me on this session as part of my convenience. And today I'm not talking about gender issue at all. I'm talking about the political history of the Northeast in the 1950s and 1960s. So the topic representation for this seniors autonomy movement in Northeast India, a study on the Hill State movement. So I have that in it. The ends of the paper, the purpose of this presentation is emphasizing to analyze the movement advocating for a Hill State movement, and also the paper trying to emphasize the importance of Eastern Indian Tribal Union and all-party unitary conference in the struggle for the Hill State movement, and also it will address the impact of Hill State movement which led to the creation of the state of Meghalaya. After India gained independence from the British, most of the Northeast region are under the state, some state government, and due to that, the Hill people in the Hill regions of the Northeast, to protect their own cultural tradition and way of life, they fight for a separate Hill state. And it started in Khasi and Hills. And the first movement for a separate Hill state took place in 1952 June at the public protest in Ceylon. Ceylon, during those days, Ceylon is the capital of Assam. And this is also regarded as an important milestone to the Hill State movement and development of Hill State. Proposal for the Hill State has gained momentum in the Khasi and Hills, and Captain W.S. Samla convened a meeting of all tribal representatives in the Northeast in Turai in December 1952 to address tribal welfare, and in this conference they established some Hills tribal union. And also the Hill State movement reached climax in 1954-55 when the state organization Commission SRC visited Assam, and in this when SRC visited Assam, most of the political parties in the Hill region submitted their memorandum in demand of the Hill State, but the SRC was not in favor of the formation of the Hill State, but the obtaining of the Hill State was irresistible. However, the Hill State movement gained momentum in 1954. All the executive councils of autonomous Hills district of United Khasi Hills, Gar Hills, Lusai Hills, and Northern Hills district council met in Torah to discuss about mutual interests. In this conference, from Lusai Hills to Mizoram, Lansui also attended this meeting. And in this conference, they talk about to demand Hill State for a separate state for all the areas. And for reason of Islamic tribal movement, this is the first political party just established for demanding Hill State in all this region. It was established in 1955 in Mizoram, and this Hill leader convened the meeting included delegates from Khasi and Northern Hills, and the meeting condemned the decision of the SRC for not recognizing the aspirations of indigenous Hill people in Assam. And he too submitted a memorandum to the then Prime Home Minister of India, Z.P. Pan, during his visit to Assam, requesting the same demand for the Hill State. But although they fight for Hill State, the Hill faced challenges in the 1950s since one of the leaders, Vice President of Itu, the U.S. Sangma, who served as the Vice President of Itu, were given pro-Indian role in the Assam government. They gave as Tribal Affairs Department, and it is a cabinet grant. And this district so led him to veer away from his initial objective of advocating for the creation of Hill State. And again, agitation against Assam Official Language Bill 1916 and formation of HLC. And in the 1960s, there's a movement that to attempt to make Assamese the official language of the state of Assam, and this made riot and violence, particularly in the Hill region. And also, the Hill leader claimed that if they pass the Assam official language bill, it will cause a lot of problems, like language problem among the people. Inadequate opportunities for government services, discrimination against non-Assamese, assimilation of the Hill people, and an identity crisis among the Hill people. And some chief minister during those days, the Hila introduced a Assam official language bill in the Legislative Assembly on June 1916. And as soon as he introduced the bill, Captain W. Sangma, leader of Itu, convened a meeting of area political leaders to express their disapproval. And also in this meeting on July 7, 1916, all party leader conference was established as a political entity. It was a coalition of political parties from the sides which are also the Nizam Indian joined this political party. And the PSLC opposed to the same bill. They have a demonstration at public strike on October 1916 in Shillong, various town in all this region in Shillong, Tura, and they protest the language bill. But still, the Assam government passed the bill in an emergency session on the same day, that is 24 October 1916. And the third PSLC met at Handloom on November 1916 passed a resolution for the immediate creation of a separate Hill State, since the Assam government forcibly adopted the bill despite their disapproval and objection. And the rules for this pattern. After various protests and strikes occurred in the Hill region, the rule is that PSLC delegate met Nehru in New Delhi in 1916, and they discussed the grievances against the Assam government for passing the bill. And in this meeting, Nehru proposed that for the Hill region, he proposed Scottish pattern to protect the Hill people language and maintain control over culture and education no matter by their own wish. But the APSLC rejected the Scottish pattern because it did not create a separate state for the Hill people. And conflict in the APSLC, as I already know, APSLC maintained this to fight for a separate Hill state. But due to Chinese aggression in October 1962, the all-party leader conference suspended it against and collaborated with the Indian government to strengthen defense in the Hill. And the Mizo Union also announced its intention to leave the APSLC and demand a separate Mizo state. And the main reason for leaving the APSLC by the MU is that they think that the Khasi state's control of the Hill politics and administration was one of the reasons that the Mizo Union left the APSLC. Also, the APSLC does not get support from the Nagai or from the beginning. And the Bureau also opposed the Hill State movement, and the Motajar subsequently left the APSLC to align with the government of Assam. Consequently, the APSLC consisted only of the Garo, Khasi, and the Zandians. Nehru and Patasar Commission. And when Prime Minister was inspired by the patriotic stand taken by the APSLC during the Chinese aggression in 1962, due to that, Nehru proposed another scheme as popularly known as Nehru Plan, which proposed that the Hill area would be given partial autonomy as long as they remain under the government of Assam. However, the Hill leader expressed disapproval as to guarantee complete autonomy for the Hill region. That is, Khasis and the governments they demand for a separate, fully autonomy Hill region. But in the Nehru Plan, 90%, only 90% autonomy should be given to the Hill state. And due to that, Nehru think that it is need to establish a commission to go on the question of the autonomy of the Hill area. But before finalizing the appointment of three-man commission, Nehru passed away on May 1964, and the commission was officially constituted only on March 1965 under the chairman of H.V. Pataskar, this popularly known as Pataskar Commission. And Pachhunga Police Consultative Report in 1966, they suggest forming a hill area committee to initiate the investigation for the hill area. But the FPSLC fully rejected this official report on the ground that they did not mention the full autonomy for the hills. And federal government made that commission. After Nehru intermittently visited Ceylon in December 1966 and proposed a federal plan to FPSLC. And federal plan focused on the organizing some federal structure to give the plane the hill equal status. But when the FPSLC accepted the federal plan, the Assam government, led by international Congress, opposed it because they think that it will trigger state security, integrity, and unity. And to resolve the issue, the central government decided to form a committee with Assam Metalis chairman, is popularly known as the TAP Committee. And even though the government of Assam accepted the recommendation of the Meta Committee, the FPSLC rejected them due to the fact that the FPSLC believed that the Hill were granted only transition and temporary autonomy. The FPSLC wanted a full autonomy for the Hills, and that's why they cannot accept this Meta Committee report or suggestion. And from the hill state to the state of Meghalaya, as I already told you, the FPSLC was led by various groups in the northeast region, only stick with the Khas Sizanti and Gar Hills. And as the FPSLC made a statement on December 1967, the direct action will be taken if the government of India does not grant a separate state or a hill state for the Khas Sizanti and Gar Hills. Due to that, the Home Minister announced in 1968 that the government of India was planning on creating an autonomous state in Assam, and therefore the non-violent action plan, which should be over on December 1967, was cancelled, called off by the FPSLC leader, and after that, the Assam Reorganization Meghalaya Bill was passed on 24 December 1969, and autonomous state to be known as Meghalaya was established within the state of Assam. After 2 years of Meghalaya as an autonomous state, the Northeastern Area Reorganization Bill was passed on 22 December 1971 by both houses of parliament, and on January 1972, Meghalaya was granted full statehood to become the 21st state of the Indian Union. The first one is, as we all see, that it brings unity among the Hill people. The Hill state movement create unity among the people. And the second one is that because of the Hill state movement, the Indian government tried to develop and enforce policies that address the economic requirement of the Hill community. That means they put importance on the Hill people for their infrastructure and for their social economic development of the Hill region. Till date, the government of India announced a lot of development projects, especially for the Northeast people. It can be assumed that because of the Hill state movement, we got all this kind of development. Thank you.
Thank you. Next presentation is by Lusanga Saido. This presentation is entitled Perception of Male Roles in the Society, Comparison and Culture.
Very good afternoon, all of you. And first of all, I would like to say sorry for coming late. I have some meeting related to my work, so I came late. But anyway, I really thank for my accepting my request to organize the organizer and accepting my presentation plan. Yeah, as you can see from the slide, I love science, and I am a PhD scholar from Missouri University, Department of Sociology. And today I will have a presentation on the topic of perception of male roles in Mizo society, a comparison across gender. And I may use some language of Mizo and English because so that I can begin my presentation. And first of all, according to Ramsar 2017, gender describes the socially constructed role and responsibility that come with being a boy, a woman, or a man. And then Ungan 2012 said, because of the biological differences between male and female, gender is defined by enduring differences in trait and capacity. And we can say that the definition of masculinity and the gender role maybe differ based on the location where we live and geographical area. For example, bisa bina di Paro anti le Goti di Paro anti Kazamanti because of the geographical areas, and then which is why today's presentation may be very interesting and very informative, I think. And the Christian and family life, competitiveness, political power, hierarchy, and theoretically, promiscuity, and the formation of men's club are all played in masculinity. And ABD 2006 said globalization, economic, and cultural influence have significant impact on the reconstructions of masculinity and gender role. And the expectations shape the attitude and behavior of both men and women. And then we may already know that in Mizo history we have sold book and then where a boy can learn how to hunt and manners, they all learn from the sold book. They didn't have any institution, but in this day we didn't have any sold book, and in spite of that, we have education institution where we can learn manners, etiquette, and how we behave, all of that. And then James Dokuma 1992 said that men are expected to provide financially for the family and making important family decisions. And this is my methodology. And the study is qualitative in nature, and then preliminary data. The data is collected through informal interview using interview guide, and then the informant of the freelister comprised of academician, historian, social activist, church leader, and researcher of Mizo culture. And this data is analyzed through anthropic software. And now we will go to the result and discussion. Number one is perception of male roles in family. Dipatin sungguh mempunyai anda jika mi becik som dan pasom, kan kata keterangan berkaitan. And then from we can see that among the women, and male role in family are perceived as the role of the family. And you can see that for male deformment, number one is the ruler of the family. Dipacu sungguh engkau turuni dan semua tu berkurdi dan. But when we come to the female informant, they never mention that the ruler of the family is the role of man in the family. Ông dia kan becik tu ni ruler of family yang kita kerana masa ni pacu ni anak pun berkurdi pacu ni sungguh tu berkurdi. Masa from this female informant that male role in the family, within family, is to take care of the family members and conduct household activities. And number two, useful and reliable. And then men are perceived as useful and reliable. A man should be trustworthy by the role of man, trustworthy and useful in the house, so that the other family member may rely on him. And then men had a role to play as family caregiver in terms of providing for the family necessities and earn living. And then, however, half of the female informant say that men in the family will take care of the family members, conduct household chores, as well as to set example for other family by their behavior. And parental behavior have significant influence on a child behavior. family relationship had a positive relation with agency, which made it more conflict perceived by juvenile in this family relation. Om de tu ni nu le pa te ni sia ta ni lo ma ten ta ni jira ni helia sung na ro kan ne am te na ta ka ni for female informant we see a set example for other family by di pa tu ni an ni sia ta ni dengan te sung ko men pa te ta example and sim to the home there as play for me ta but we didn't have any response from male informant, which is mentioned to take care of family members and then set example for other families. And the perception of male roles in CBO. In this regard, the answer is like the same. Leadership role in the community, active participate in any available community activities, responsibility for the community well-being. Very atam zokuni, di batu kama, ikima, aku itu bagi leadership, we have to take the leadership role and ini. Cuba tu ni baik, tu nak pun kan, tu kita when we look at YMA, local council, and MHCP, MHCP mean church activities at the church activity. In president to vice president mostly the leadership, president and vice chairman, they all take by men more. They say to come with treasurer president. Kami control sekarang kok kami di pasuk kita tak nak kanji, acung ada Cina kanji ni, tujuh CBO apa ni leadership role di pada Malaysia pun kan ada pun di Bali juga memang leadership role we have to expect to play a role of leadership in the CBO and activities, and expect the role of men in earning a livelihood. In this society, we expect men to play a role as breadwinner. He should take care of family in terms of providing food and their need, family needs. But in this regard, I would like to say something. Look at Tunda and do we really play this role in our as regarding the livelihood? But we expect that male to play a role as a breadwinner in our family, in our community, in our society. Masih ini kita langsung dicari dengan tukang-tukang ini. Orang mereka tentang tukang-tukang ini, di mana problem ini firman ini juga the society, from our society, really expect a breadwinner, really expect about akan juga langsung dicari dengan tukang-tukang ini, bisa dipakai antara ini. And for my conclusion, the traditional role of men as the head of the household is reinforced in particular society, and men are expected to support the family financially and are physically stronger than the women. And the study shows that the men are expected to be family leader, to set example for others, and to carry out numerous responsibilities in their family. And they are also expected to take care of leadership role in the community and actively participate in community activities. And traditionally, men have been expected to defend their village against outside threat and real life. And this may mean looking out for the weaker member of the society and participating in the communal activities. Both gender perceive that men should be able to make decisions, take care of the family, and be helpful and dependable. And they both establish role of men as primary breadwinner in their family. work hard, provide for the necessity of the household, and inform and perceive that a man should take care of family, start a family of his own, and fulfill his responsibility as father, son, or husband, and taking one leadership role in the family. And Stain 2040 cited, male may be expected to play a larger role than female, particularly when it comes to providing for family. It is expected to them to start family and raise. And perception of masculinity in the society, along with the variable expectation, indicate variation across gender. However, the finding project that both gender have incredible high expectation on who a man is and should be, what role he is expected to carry out in the family and elsewhere. It overlay a huge burden on man to be the man that his family and society expected him to be. And ako mana kasi lucu, ini misalnya di parti akan dikeluarkan ini yang itu kami kami papo di siapa kita kami parti yang kan play ini ini kan play seperti ini kita tak suni kan play so nam suni kan suni guna ini Indo sebenarnya dia general KTP di parti tamzo kan ni Rudo tamzo kan ni di parti kan jangan lain dia kan roti tuna society na base yang akan high di negara di tingkat akan play dan apa ini and that's all my presentation. Thank you.
Do we have those two presenters, number 4 and 5? Okay, so we have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 presentations. All are on women generally. So we can open up for discussion and comments. So any comments, questions, queries, please come forward and you can, when you ask question, please address it to the paper presenter by his name. Nothing?
Firstly, my name is and I study political science and PUC collection, second semester. Today I have a question for Ms. Michelle Zoltanzani in regards to the church administration. I would like to hear your opinion in regards to the employment of only males as pastors and reverends. Do you think this is a matter of oppressing women's representation in church administration, or is it just simply a matter of tradition? We say that it is a man's role. And do you think that we should move forward and put women in the position of pastors, or do you think that it's not that important and we should just keep it as a tradition and reserve it for the men? I would like to hear your opinion on that.
Thank you very much. Any other? You please slow down. So any other questions? This side? None? In that case, we will ask Michelle to answer.
Thank you so much for the question. Yes, you were saying that Mizo women, in Mizo society, women play a very important role in the church. And one thing I would like to clarify is that Mizoram Synod, as this is the biggest denomination in Mizoram Synod does not oppose women ordination in other countries. countries, but do not feel the need to have one under Mizoram's law. So that is one thing I would like to clarify. And one incident that happened was in 1987. As this ordination was brought up by Synod in 1978, it was resolved that the church is not ready to ordain women for church elders. As for my opinion, I think since it is deeply in our society that men should play the roles as leaders, I think it should go on as this way. For the time being, I think there needs to be change as church reforms needs to be there, needs to be implemented someday. Thank you. I hope that.
Any others? Oh, there.
Thank you so much. Myself, Krishnamandana. My question to Sailo. So it was a very fascinating presentation though. My question is, since you have been talking about men is a breadwinner, so traditionally and in the context of globalization and rapid development, the whole world casting towards the equality in society, inclusivity, and women should be treated equally. And there are so many welfare mechanisms and policies that are bringing towards the empowering of the women. So, do you think that only men should be the breadwinner for the family, or do you give any, traditionally, because there are many studies and women writers that they have been very vocal that women should be treated equally and they should get the respect on par with the men. Not only solely the men should get the bread and butter because they have been subjugated for a very long time, for centuries. So do you think that only men should become the breadwinner, or women also should be given fair treatment, equal treatment to become the member and breadwinner for the family?
Before I just wanted to add this. When I move in the urban market, I see most of the vegetable, fish market, and even other shops, mostly women run. Are they not breadwinners? What is happening in those families? I know you're talking mostly about perception, but in those families, are the owners, winners or not? If you can.
Yeah, I second your observations.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. From my opinion, regarding the breadwinner, and we have role by both men and women equally. But as a practical society in Mizoram, we have seen men has more responsibility for breadwinner. But from my opinion, we should take responsibility for taking care of the family, both women and men. But as I said, in the traditional, from that practical society, based on practical society.
Thank you. I have another question to the political attitude. So I forgot his name. See, having been mentioned that there is so much of attitude and perception towards the politics, but in a way, women is more enthusiastic to come into politics. So what is preventing them, especially in Mizoram? What is preventing them not to be contesting in elections? So because there are many identities that they push them and create an awareness among the women. Is it a traditional way of thinking that's still subjugating them not to enter into politics? Or it is their wish and will that voluntarily they themselves are not coming forward to contest in elections or to be part of the decision making or democratic process?
Yes, thank you for the question. Regarding that women entering into politics, yes, as you can see from the candidate also, there are many women who have the potential and who have also the capabilities. But the issue is that many of the family, they do not, how to say honestly, they do not agree. Because as you have seen from the latest how to say, presentation, there is a barriers among the society, because especially among the family, because sometimes they feel that it is how to say, like the role for women is to take care of the family, including the children, to do the household work. So that's one of the hindrances that is one of the factors or the hindrances or obstacles entering women into politics. So in this way, they do not have a full support among the family. That's why it is one of the main reasons for women entering into politics. That does not mean that there is women who are not qualified. They are qualified, but they are not supported enough by the family or the society also. That's one of the reasons. Did I answer the question, sir?
My question is to the Sarah. I come across this political participation of women, an idea by Peterson and Peterson. They say that the higher the level of political participation, then the lower will be the representation of this marginalized sections, such as women or the lower class people. So, as we can see from the presentation also, at the lower level, women participation is even higher than men. But as the level of participation went higher and higher, such as active participation in politics through campaigns, party membership, or even candidature in elections, then women participation come to decline. So, can this be because women have less resources than men? For example, like money or even time. Do you consider this in your research?
Regarding this, I have also included in my thesis, but one of my findings is not about resources or money. It's about the time. Because as you know, in the society of Mizo, as I mentioned in the previous question, the main issue is women's role is to take care of the family. So it's not about the money or resources. So the main issue is to take care of the family, not only the family, also as I mentioned, their main priority is to participate more in church rather than politics. That's the main issue. That's also the hindrance or obstacles that women face.
So that comes to my observation that does this mean that those who candidate themselves in the last few elections have less family issues to worry about? Like we know who comes to candidate themselves. So do these women have less family issues to worry about? What do you think? Have you considered their family background and their, yes, roles in the family? Okay.
Yeah, I have another suggestion for you as part of your research. So I think considering Sardika's suggestions, I have a suggestion. You should also, there are stigma, social stigma that has been imposed on women. And there are in many ways that women is not allowed to enter into the political space. Though there will be enthusiasm towards entering into politics. And I would suggest to you to just look into the aspect whether the woman is interested or not. Just being labeled and house chores and other work. Whether if they are interested, what is lacking them not to enter into the politics. So first we should take into consideration of their interest, whether they are interested in politics or not. That it would be nice, that will be more feasible, and that you can come up with more suggestions as well.
I think it's time for a valedictory session to start, and Professor will be here. So we wind up this session. I thank all the presenters. Yeah, just after that, I thank all the panelists here for making their presentations, and the wonderful audience, and the organizers for the allowing me to moderate this session. Thank you. Thank you.
A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to all to the valedictory session. And over the past 2 days, we had the opportunity to delve into various facets of social sciences and engage in stimulating discussions. And this has helped us in having a deeper understanding of the environment around us and also the world at large. And we had Professor Darwin Madhuri Rao, School of Social Sciences, University of Newcastle, Australia, as a keynote speaker. And we are very fortunate to have special lectures from Professor Ramachandra Guha and Professor Sajjan, distinguished professors, Professor Joy N.K. Patrao, and last but not the least, Professor Sanjoy Kazalika. And Sir will be giving a special lecture at the valedictory session, and I will be calling him soon because he has another engagement. So because of that, I will not take much of his time. And we are indeed very fortunate to have prominent persons for our international seminar. And their contributions have been invaluable, and this has shaped the discourse, and it has also pushed the boundaries of our collective understanding and also made our seminar a success. And we had 8 online presentations with 28 offline presentations for the today seminar. And not only that, I would like to highlight the concerted efforts of the students as well as the faculty of the School of Social Sciences. And not only that, we are also very grateful to the invitation that we had given out, and we are extremely grateful for those who had participated and made our seminar a success. And we have a very special invitee with us today. Like I had mentioned earlier, Professor Sanjoy Kazalika. He's an author, journalist. I think he has already been introduced in the morning, so I will not take up much of his time. And so without further ado, may I now invite Professor Sanjoy Kazalika to give his special lecture.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's that time of the day, isn't it? End of a conference, you're tired, you listen to an unending flow of words and ideas, and the mind is saturated, but I promise that I shall not take long. And I want to thank the conference organizers, all of them, chair, the students and faculty at PSC. So this unending volume and flow of words and narratives, which I think has provoked, interested, and energized some of you, or all of you perhaps, certainly has given me a lot of food for thought. Is coming to a close, and apart from the very distinguished and unique lectures by Professor Ram Guha, Professor Joy Pachhunga, Professor Duncan McRae, and Professor Sajal Nag, there have been a series of interesting papers and presentations. I'm sorry I wasn't able to attend most of them, but I caught a bit of the flavor. And I think Professor Nag and Professor Joy Pachhunga in the morning session spoke about the need of the sciences, the life sciences, the social sciences and humanities, not just to work in silos, but to really connect to each other. And Joy Pachhunga's work is a clear example of that. For it not just shows the vulnerability of other non-human species, but also of our interdependence. To work across sciences is a challenging and difficult task, but I think, and this is my own view, it needs to be done. There's a very famous biologist in Harvard called Edward Wilson, and he described this work as consilience, which means work at the frontier of the life sciences, social sciences, and humanities come together and energize each other, not create diversions. In a very simple way he explained it, was that those of us who focus on the social sciences can actually define problems, analyze them, structure responses, but life sciences can actually solve them. So let me share a few examples from my own experience, what I think we could do more of, which is innovative and path-breaking research. Often that innovation, that path-breaking is actually at our very feet. Now, I don't know, William is here. See? William is. What was the village we went to last month? Sugarcane.
It was Phupui.
Phupui.
Sugarcane.
Phupui. About 35 kilometers from Mysore. And I was told by William and research colleague that there were sugarcane plantations there. And I was quite stunned. Sugarcane plantations in the hills. It's not a traditional crop. You often identify sugarcane with the sugarcane belt of UP, Western UP, parts of Bihar. So my question was, or even in Cuba, but here, what was sugarcane doing in the hill ranges of Mizoram? We were surrounded by sugarcane plantations when we went there, and very primitive style sugar or gur making, molasses making units. And the response from the villagers when we asked them the basic question of why, they said that growing rice was unsustainable for the families. It was just, they couldn't make ends meet, they couldn't feed the family properly. So one or two families decided to go in for sugarcane, they found that it worked. And they have plantations. The plantations are very interesting. They are not functioning according to the styles of UP, Bihar, or even Cuba. You have jhum, sugarcane plantation. So there is a jhum cycle sugarcane which is followed, and that's absolutely to me fascinating. For me, this was a perfect example of where critical collaboration could begin between life sciences and social sciences and the humanities. It's ideal because not just to raise the question of why and who and how is it working, what's the germ pattern like, is it different to other germ patterns, how is it benefiting communities, what are the plans for the future, but it's also a way of adapting to climate change. So that I thought was really interesting. A couple of days ago in Shillong, I was a young man from Bangalore came to see me. He's a journalist who's writing a book about football. He's not writing about the clubs, the big clubs, Tempo or Sargankar or East Bengal or Mohan Bagan. He's writing about rural football clubs in India. And he was in Meghalaya. He was traveling to some villages to see local club football, village football. And he's coming to Mizoram next week to spend a week here to understand what makes, whether it's Champai FC or Aizawl FC tick and beyond. Now, I was interested in this because I've also seen with Sajal, Joy, others, and others who worked on these issues, especially in Nagaland. We know of situations where football has been used as a peacemaker. So a few years ago, there were the longest negotiations in Nagaland is not between Nagas and the government of India, it's between Nagas of different factions. So they don't attack each other. And the one faction played against the dominant faction. I don't recall, Sergeant, who won. But the fact is that they played each other, all these guys huffing and puffing and some running quickly. Basically to try and cement peace between rival groups. So I would say that this is also a very interesting way to look at an issue such as peacemaking or rural livelihoods, because football is becoming an avenue out for people who are talented and capable in that area. And this is how sports can change lives and even nations, because for those of you who follow football, you will recall that I think about 10 or 12 years ago, when the Ivory Coast finally made the World Cup, the team stood together and called on the politicians to bring in democracy, to have elections, and stand behind them as a united nation to support them in the World Cup. And that actually happened. So put the past behind and come behind us. Now finally, I want to talk about something on which I have deep personal experience, which is briefly mentioned in the introduction about boat clinics in Assam. Now, how many of you have traveled to Assam and traveled to Assam? You've seen the Brahmaputra? You've seen the river? The river in Upper Assam, Dibrugarh, is about 14 kilometers wide. And in Bangladesh, where it merges with two other rivers, the Ganga, Gamsapata, and the Meghna. When it joins the Meghna, it's 22 kilometers wide. Now, I've done this travel because I've traveled from Tibet to the Bay of Bengal, making a film on the river. But what I'm talking to you is not about travel. It's about a life-changing experience, which prompted research and prompted a shift in trajectory in my life and career. I was traveling on a ferry. We have these ferries across the Brahmaputra, and we were traveling, the filmmaker Jahanu Barua and I, and our team, to a great island in the heart of the river called Majuli. And on that boat trip, we heard of a story, a very tragic story of a young girl who young woman who had died in childbirth on that ferry coming from Majuli to the mainland. And the next day, as an inquisitive journalist, I dug a bit more and I found more information about the story, which is that it was a difficult pregnancy. The young woman was about 16 or 17 underage. She came from a poor family. She was carried on a stretcher from her home to what we call the ghat, the point at which the ferry takes off. When they reached the ghat, the ferry point late, so they missed the ferry. So that night in the evening, they had to spend that night by the banks of the Brahmaputra in winter. And any of you who's lived or stayed even for a little while by the river, either when it is in spate or in flood or in winter, it can be a very intimidating entity because the flow of the river is like the roar of a tiger. So they made the ferry the next morning, but she passed away on the journey. So I was troubled by this because in Assam and in the Northeast, we talk about women having not just gender parity, but we are treating them they're better, more empowered, shall we say, than other parts of the country. But I did my research and I found to my absolute horror that the maternal mortality rate in Assam was the highest in the country, which means more women who were pregnant in rural areas stood a chance of dying because of lack of access to health services. This was way back in the late 1990s. And then I said, who are these people? How many are there? Standard question. They live on islands. Not one island, but many islands. 2,500 islands is home to 8% of Assam's population. That's about 20 lakh people. That's about twice the population of Israel lives on islands in Assam. So I said this, we cannot let this happen and go on. Let me see what one can do. So we actually, I thought of the idea of a boat clinic, and we participated in a World Bank competition. And the concept was a ship of hope in the valley of flood. Because to these places you cannot build bridges. To these places you cannot have roads. You cannot have helicopter services as you have in Australia. You have flying doctors. So what is the best way of taking health care to people? It's by boat, the traditional system. So we tweaked the traditional system. I helped in designing it with local boat builder. And we started it 19 years ago, almost 19 years ago to the day. In one district today we have 15 boat clinics. We work in 14 districts across Assam. We reach about 2.5 lakh people every year with healthcare, and in the time that we've been working, the MMR levels have dropped substantially. I'm not saying that that's because of us, but I think it is across the state there's been a huge intervention on healthcare. But it's one of the biggest single interventions of an NGO. We work in partnership with the Assam government, with the National Health Mission. And I'm telling you this story because an experience can become an idea. An idea can be designed into a tool, into a mechanism, into a process. That process can become policy, and that policy can transform the lives of millions of people. That's how it works. And I'm sharing this from my own personal experience. So, innovation, imagination, and interdiscipline. these 3 I's, and initiative. Because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. It's what Sajan Lam was saying this morning. Translate. Please translate. I'm working on a book on Mizoram now. And one of the handicaps I face because I don't speak or write Mizo is understanding the many documents that I have to go through. And nowadays we have AI, you have ChatGPT, you have everything else, you have satellite technology. So use the tools we have to make our work, our research more effective, because let's remember we have just one life and we should use it well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful speech. I shall now invite Dr. Nal Longzali to propose a vote of thanks. And I would like to make an announcement here that the certificates for the seminar will be distributed outside. So you can collect them from the reception desk after the program.
A very good afternoon to you all. I stand here today in my capacity as one of the members of the organizing committee. And we have a very long list of people to thank, so without further ado, I'll start my speech. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank our respected principal for encouraging our school to take up this challenge of applying for and organizing this international seminar. And without his constant support, it would not have materialized, and for that we are very grateful to him. And also, the seminar would not have materialized without a funding agency, which is our parent institution, Missouri University, and we are very grateful to our parent institution. This seminar is a stellar success, I must say. And we extend our heartfelt gratitude to our special invitees, Professor Duncan McDury-Robb, Professor Sajid Nam, Professor Sanjoy Hazarika, Professor Ramachandra Juhar, and last but not the least, Professor Joy L.K. Katsor. And we thank them all for having covered all these miles and having pushed through all the hassle to be with us here today, and that took to promote knowledge. And it is a sincere request that, sir, you consider PUC your home and you visit again. To all our paper presenters, we thank you all for choosing to engage in our platform, be it offline or online mode. And last but not least, to all our participants, be it passive or active, we thank you for your time and your presence. Our event would not have been a success without you. Thank you all.
I wish these speakers safe travels and continued success in their future endeavors. And with that, we close our today international seminar on voices and bound perspectives on social sciences. Thank you, everyone. I would like the students to kindly help us clear the flowers as well as the jugs and drinks.